In the meantime, Lebanon reported Israeli strikes in the south of the country. Earlier, the Israeli military issued a wide-ranging forced displacement order for more than 20 locations. And we are joined on the set by Hanine Al Sayyed, a Lebanese Minister of Social Affairs and the Humanitarian Response. Hanine, thank you for coming in to Paris Direct. First question is about the optimism around this potential deal between the United States and Iran. Iran insists Lebanon must be part of that. The United States, Donald Trump says no. What's your understanding?
So obviously the details of the deal are still unknown, but I most important point for us as the Lebanese government is that Lebanon has a seat on the table, has its seat on the table, which is the path that the President of the Republic as well as the Prime Minister has taken. We're doing direct negotiations because this is we're a sovereign state and a state that in the end we are carving our future in this. So regardless of what happens in the wider agreement between the U.S., Iran, which is important, of course, because it brings wider stability for the region, which is desperately needed, Lebanon is the one to chart its path forward. And this is what's happening under the, with the United States. It's happening in Washington under U.S. auspices.
So Lebanon has a seat at the table. In the meantime, we're seeing the fighting continuing. Israel firing more rockets into southern Lebanon. You're here in Paris to organize part of a humanitarian response?
Right. I'm here to launch tomorrow, in fact, at the Embassy of Lebanon in Paris, an international humanitarian alliance, which is to help raise awareness and funding for Lebanon, for the displaced families, of which, as you know, today we've reached more than 1 million. 20% of the Lebanese population, which has been on the move and continues to be on the move, unfortunately, the violations and of the ceasefire are continuing as we speak. So that's my main objective. And of course, to discuss with the French officials, French authorities, concerned ministers, French development agencies, their support to Lebanon.
Yeah, and Lebanese government in a very tricky situation because the key here is Hezbollah disarmament. But for viewers who might not be familiar, the militant group, its own power and influence eclipses that of the Lebanese army. So disarming Hezbollah, very difficult. Israel says it wants Hezbollah disarmed before it stops attacks. Hezbollah says it wants Israel to withdraw from Lebanese territory before it'll discuss its weapons. Where is disarmament?
So our government in August of last year took a historic decision, government and the president, which has never happened in the last 4 decades in Lebanon, which is that all arms, including Hezbollah and particularly Hezbollah, outside of the state's control are illegal. And then we repeated that through other consecutive decisions, most recently even after the war broke out. So that's fundamental. And it's not just words. I mean, although this is very important as a political stance. Implementation, of course. This is where, of course, Lebanon needs help. The Lebanese state, which is the only savior in the end for the Lebanese, a strong Lebanese state in its army, in its institutions, and the support of the international community in this is very critical for us. So we know that it's not an easy process, but it's the only pathway. And I believe the vast majority of the Lebanese people are behind this similar cause. So we know it's difficult, but with the kind of support, first political, security, militarily, by strengthening the Lebanese armed forces and the Lebanese institutions of which to be able to respond to this situation in terms of arms, as well as the very severe humanitarian crisis that we have. Today, the government is doing everything in its ability with the support of the international community to respond and to help the displaced. Yet, obviously, resources are very stretched.
When you say Lebanon needs help, do you mean exterior help with Hezbollah disarmament?
We mean we need support for the state, for the army to be able to do the job that it's supposed to do.
Specifically, U.S. support.
U.S. and France. Of course, I'm also here in France to thank the French government and to also, request the kind of support that they can. France was about to convene a conference on March 5th here in Paris to support the Lebanese army. We hope that that continues to be one of the objectives that will be pursued in the coming weeks.
Yeah, in the coming weeks, we have the talks resuming between Israel and Lebanon. Are you hopeful?
We have to be hopeful. It's the only path forward. We can't continue with the kind of killing and destruction and turning villages. More than 60 villages turned into rubble. A huge part of the south is occupied by Israel now, and so it's fundamental. Yes, we are hopeful to get the withdrawal of ceasefire first, the withdrawal of the Israelis from Lebanese, every inch of Lebanese land, the return of the displaced, and then a recovery and reconstruction process. All of this is what we have in the card, we're planning, and of course we have to be hopeful.
Hanine, thank you so much for your time. Hanine Al Sayyed, Lebanese Minister of Social Affairs and the Humanitarian.